What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my album review of Drake and Future's collaborative album, What a Time to Be Alive. So I'm wondering, where did this album come from? Who knew that it was gonna happen? Like, where did this come from? Can we talk about this for a second? So I would say it was about a week ago. There were rumors going around that Drake and Future were gonna release a joint album together. But the cynic in me was like, how? How is this gonna work out? I mean, Drake has an album that still is yet to be released. Future has an album that still is yet to be released. So of course they're too tied up in their own individual projects to release a joint album. So as this thought process was going through my head, I just eliminated the fact that this probably wasn't gonna happen. I just threw that out the window. Of course I was dead wrong and it actually happened. What a Time to Be Alive actually has come out. The 11-track album premiered on OVO Sound Radio, which is distributed through Beats Radio on Apple Music. So if you don't have Apple Music, you kinda are, losing out right now. You kinda suck because you have to be on Apple Music to hear these sort of premieres. So the album premiered on the radio, on OVO Sound Radio, and just a few days ago even, Drake was pubbing the album through Instagram, which he has like a bajillion followers, so it got people super amped. So you can just imagine that yesterday people were on, pins and needles waiting for this album. Drake and Future, I mean, come on. Listen, if you have not been around for the year of 2015, regardless of what you think of the two, Drake and Future are the hottest rappers in music right now. I mean, seriously, they are literally at the top of the kingpin. They are at the top of the food chain. These two guys have been ruling 2015 with an iron fist. Let's talk about Future. Heading out of last year, going into this year, Future had the hottest mixtapes in the game. He was just releasing consistent amounts of work and just getting people hyped and amped up for Future. And he broke up with Sierra, so he was in the front headlines of the news. Like, he had a lot going on for him. And then, of course, just about a couple of months ago, Dirty Sprite 2 DS2 came out, which obviously put people in a frenzy about that new work. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of DS2. I think he has better work through his mixtapes. However, I still cannot deny the fact that DS2 is still played to this day. And do we even gotta talk about Drake? I mean, come on. Everybody knows the stellar year that this man has had. He released, if you're reading this, it's too late, back in February, back it was still wintertime and it was still snow on the ground. He released that completely out of left field. Nobody expected that. It didn't even come with an announcement. But you know what happened? He still sold hella records. He still was selling out arenas all over the country. He headlined Coachella. He was still the man. And come on, like, the summertime rolled around. We know what happened with Drake in the summertime. He pretty much killed Meek Mill's career. No, scratch that. Meek Mill killed Meek Mill's career. That's your fault, buddy. But in the summertime, Meek and Drake gave us one of the hottest rap beefs we've seen in a long time. And Drake was just like killing them, just like in every facet, like through the internet, social media, and then on wax through the diss tracks, especially with Back to Back, which is still like a club banger to this day. So with all of that said, Drake and Future have been made for this moment to create a collaborative album. The two hottest artists in the game right now were made for this moment. Very much so like back in 2011 when Jay and Kanye linked up to do Watch the Throne. At that time, they were probably the two hottest artists in the game, and they came together to put together Watch the Throne, which is still regarded as a classic of that year. And now we fast forward a little bit over 4 years later, and the two new hottest artists in the game have released their own solo project, their own collaborative album, What a Time to Be Alive. So I've listened to the album, I've heard it a couple of times, and these are my thoughts on it. I mean, to really be succinct about it, this is another Future project. This is another Future album. Drake just so happens to be on it. Now, please do not get me wrong. That is not discrediting Drake at all. Drake is, amazing. Like I said, he's at the top of the food chain right now. However, you can tell this is very much a Future project because of the sound of the album. I mean, seriously, look at the track list if you don't believe me. Metro Boomin, who primarily produces Future's music, produces most of these 11 tracks. Opposite of Metro Boomin, you got 40, Drake's main producer, who produces 1 track. So that just goes to show you that this is primarily a Future sounding album. Now, I like Future, but for real, I got Future fatigue. He's released a lot of music, and a lot of it does sound the same. You know my review of DS2 at this point. This all sounds the same and within that realm. Now, does that make this a bad project? No, I still think it's a really good project, and it has some bangers on there that I know are gonna rule the clubs and the radio for the next months. Songs like Big Rings, Jumpman, I'm the Plug, those songs are gonna be huge if you ask me. Really, Drake had some shining moments on this record as well. It's not like he's outshined by Future. Drake holds his own. It just sounds like a Future album. And to be quite honest with you, at this point in time, I much rather hear a Drake album than a Future album because I believe Drake is the hotter artist. And please, Future Hive, do not come for me, but I just believe Drake has more going for him than Future has. Regardless of how I feel though, I know the world loves it. I know the Future Hive loves it. I know all of Drake's fans loves it. It really doesn't matter what I think. I'm just giving you my personal review, but the internet and social media is eating this up right now. I mean, if you haven't been like on social media and haven't seen the GIFs and the memes and everything that's been created in just 24 hours, like you're missing out because it's some of the most hilarious stuff as always. Drake and Future are the hottest internet celebrities in the game, and then when you put them two together, like, it's cataclysmic. So with all of that said, what a time to be alive. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad we got it. I'm not, you know, really trying to rain on it at all. I'm glad that we even got this project. So I'm gonna have to give What a Time to Be Alive a 7.4 out of 10. One does have to ask though, how did we get a Future and Drake album before we got a Lil Wayne and Drake album? Like, what is going on? Not that I want to hear a Wayne and Drake album before a Future and Drake album, but still, I just thought it was kind of like a given. But despite that, as always, people, follow me on social media, JRW the Creator, on Twitter and Instagram, and then go check out my website, JordanRWilliams.com. And as always, Future Hive, Drake fans, all of y'all, I'll see y'all next time.